Hey guys, welcome to SAMTB. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. You haven't lost your mind in your whole social distancing and putting yourselves in quarantine and stuff. But I am here in my subterranean isolation containment unit, also known as a basement. I'm just hanging out, and if I'm like you, or if you're like me, kind of losing your mind a little bit, probably spending a little bit too much time in front of the television, binge watching shows that really aren't very good. I mean, come on, really? Lion King or Tiger King or something stupid like that, whatever. I mean, really? Come on, I think you can do better than that. But anyway, I'm kind of, though, been looking for some more YouTube content, like a lot of you guys are probably catching up with all of your favorites. And if you found someone you really enjoy and you've been following them, maybe going back and watching some of their older episodes like I've been doing. Two of my favorites, BKXC and then Seth's Bike Hacks. I mean, they're probably my two absolute favorites out there. If you haven't checked those guys out, check them out. I don't actually know them personally, although I feel like I do because I watch them on YouTube fairly regularly, and they are pretty entertaining characters, both of them, and both really also supply some really great quality content, which is what I think most of us are looking for as well. So this has led me to where I am today, and I'll kind of update you super fast in like 15, 20, 30 seconds or less. So beginning of January, bike was totaled in an accident on my car, crushed, done, over. Okay, fast forward. 2.5 weeks later, I'm on I rent a bike out. I'm riding with some buddies, and I crash on a jump pretty bad. It broke my shoulder, clavicle, and I broke my radius head. That's up at the top here. Both of them broken. As you can see, they're moving pretty good right now. We're looking good, although strength-wise, I'm probably still nowhere near what I really should be at. So what I'm looking for is a bike. I'm on the hunt for a bike. So I thought, why not include you guys? Because you've got nothing else to do anyway. You're just sitting there watching stupid like Netflix shows that are just really not that good anyway. We've established this, right? So let's now move into my dilemma. I need a new bike. And I've been looking around, and I really thought I had it nailed. I wasn't gonna ever need to make any video like this. I wasn't gonna have to ask anybody's opinion because I had my own opinion, and I thought it was pretty much flawless. I wanted to buy the Ibis Ripmo AF. It's a 29-inch bike. If you haven't heard of it, you've been living under a rock if you really consider yourself a mountain biker. And it is just a killer bike. It's got everything. It's stacked up there. It's awesome. It's $3,000 though. Now, $3,000 if you're out there looking at some other bikes. I mean, Ibis makes bikes that are $10,000. As do a lot of other bike manufacturers. And depending on how much money you have, or if you're probably not married and you don't have a girlfriend, because you're not spending $10,000 on a bike if you're in your 20s probably, unless you're like really wealthy. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just going to say it. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. So this leads me to a week ago. Of course, I'm on YouTube and I'm following this review. I see this review from Pink Bike on bikes that are sub 2,000. So real quick, I was actually looking for a bike to recommend some bikes to a friend of mine who'd been asking me for some bike recommendations, and he gave me his budget requirements, and they were definitely sub 2,000. So I looking on there, and I kind of you start searching for something, and then it just fills up your feed, and sure enough, all of these sort of discount bike feeds start popping up. But this one from Pink Bike really caught my attention, and it was for these, I think it was 5 bikes under $2,000, the best ones they had rated. They were out, and I think they were out in Sedona, and they were riding these bikes. So they ride them on some pretty gnarly trails, and they're all sub $2,000. And some of them, that always happens. Sub 2,000 means they're $1,999, basically most of the bikes. And usually in that price point, even though bikes have gotten just exponentially better every month in the last, say, year or two, or 3 years even, there's still a lot of sacrifices usually that come with a sub $3,000, sub $4,000 bike. If you really want to be getting the cream of the crops from most bike manufacturers, you're up there at $5,000, $6,000 or more. So that's not reality for me. And I think for most people out there, it's really not reality either. I don't live in a super mountainous region. I live in eastern central North Carolina, Yeah, I know, Eastern Central, whatever. But I just mean I don't live in a really mountainous region. I wish I lived out maybe like next to Pisgah or in Pisgah, you know. For us in North Carolina, that's sort of like, you know, that's the Mecca. You want to go there if you really want some awesome trails of every type, for every skill level, and they're just beautiful. They're so well done. I was out there at Christmas time, really enjoyed riding out there. I'd love to get out there more, but for me, that's a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive just to get out there. Reality is, if I want to get out for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours out and back, I'm on some pretty medium-ish trails. Not they're bad, they're just not going to be like super high downhill monster bombing kind of trails. They're just not. We've got some great techie trails, but not super hardcore trails. So anyway, so fast forward, I find this bike, and this is what I want to ask your opinion on. This is why I'm making this whole video here. I want you to convince me that I need to buy the Ibis Ripmo. But first, I want you to look at a bike for me. I'm going to leave a description in the link below to 2 videos for this bike. One's by Pink Bike. The other one was, I think, by Worldwide Cyclery. I believe it's theirs. I'll double check that. But either way, you'll see them in the description below. Or just look up this other bike. And this other bike is called the Vitus Mythique. And I'll spell that out for any of you that aren't a little challenged in your spelling skills. 144 millimeter alloy bike. It's a 29-incher. And it's from a company in, I'm pretty sure it's in England. And so I was a little skeptical because this bike is sub 2,000, and right now it's on sale somehow for $1,800 US. It's like, I think it's 1,700 pounds, whatever. So it's like 18, it works out to be like 1835, I think it is, for US dollars. So anyway, regardless, that's well below $2,000. The Ibis Ripmo AF is $3,000. Now, the only compromises I see between these 2 bikes really is that the Ibis is running an NX transmission, and this Mythique comes with an SX transmission. To be honest, I don't think there's a huge difference between SX and NX. Now, I think there's a big difference between the NX and the GX. And the price point between the NX and the GX is about $250, maybe $300, depending on where you're finding it. So the difference between the SX and the NX is like $200. Really, that's it. So besides the hassle of having to like get the bike and then swap these things out, Ibis sells through a distributor, like straight through, you know, you gotta go to a bike shop and order your Ibis, basically. Now, Vitus sells direct to consumer. Now, direct to consumer, by the way, isn't exactly direct to consumer, because you still have to go through another retailer like Worldwide Cyclery or who else is the, I'm sorry, excuse me one sec while I just check here. Who else is selling this bike? Vitus. Oh, Chain Reaction. Sorry about that. I was looking at my screen. Chain Reaction Cycles. I believe they're out of Ireland, which is a bonus because I'm like partly Irish. A lot of it. Most lit. Irish, Scottish, and then Sicilian, whatever. So I don't know any Sicilian companies making bikes, so sorry. But anyway, so you can buy it through Chain Reaction Cycles. But you can't buy it actually. I'm trying to buy it directly from Vitus. And maybe with the whole COVID thing, maybe they'll do that. But at the moment, they're not. I probably should just call them. But anyway, so here's the question. Back on point. Squirrel. Back. I'm back. So why should I buy the Vitus? Why shouldn't I buy the Ibis? It's a $1,200 difference in price, just about. That's a lot of money. $1,200 is a lot of money. Sorry, I think it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me. $1,200 is a lot of money. $1,800 for this Vitus. $3,000 for the Ibis. Now, we're in a world of that we've never been in before in terms of, I mean, a lot of other things. But I mean, for bikes, I mean, a couple of years ago, a $1,800 mountain bike was junk, basically. Really, come on. So the 2 big things here really differences are just your drivetrain. Like I mentioned, you have an SX on the Vitus and the NX on the Ibis. And then the front forks. There's about a $500 difference if you just to buy the components. So the Bomber Z2 runs about $550, and right now I just looked up the DVO Diamond D1 is right around 900, 950. It was always 1,000, and right now they're just dropping the price. Maybe there's probably a new model coming out or whatever. Maybe the D2, I'm not sure what it is, but in any case, it's about 900. So there's a we'll call it a $450 difference between those two components alone. The problem is the Vitus doesn't come that way. It comes with the SX and it comes with the Bomber 2 on it. So I'd have to like swap those out post-purchase and then sell those out, which you never, I mean, you can sell out, I think you can sell the forks pretty easily in my opinion. The transmissions is just an SX. Its value isn't very high on a resale market. I just don't believe that. So anyway, so I'm coming out. I'm losing a little bit on that. But anyway, my point in all of this is, even if I had those components from the Ibis on this Vitus, I'm still saving like $800, $700. It's a lot of money. It's a big difference. Now, the reason I do this is when you watch those videos, you're going to see and hear these guys talk about these bikes and how well this Vitus rides. Matter of fact, when I'm listening to it, it reminds me a lot of when I hear people riding the Ibis and they're demoing on this Ibis and how well it holds the ground, but also it helps you, it lets you get off the ground. You know, the only thing I'd probably imagine is if you're a really large person, large meaning in my opinion is you're over 200 pounds and you're over 6 feet tall, then Vitus, maybe the rear shock, you know, you're going to have to maybe play with that sag a little bit, because most of these guys, it just seems like everybody that reviews a bike and all these guys that are riding, they're all like 5'10", between 5'8" and 5'10", and none of them weigh more than 170 pounds, like none of them. So I'm 5'10", I weigh about 175, 180. So I'm, you know, I'm a little bit bigger than them in terms of weight, and that gives you that poppiness. I think, you know, you're going to feel more playfulness. So when I hear these reviews based on this Vitus, it sounds exactly like what people were saying about the Ibis when the AF came out. Holds the ground, phenomenal, solid, but also it's just great. Like it's just poppy and bouncy, and it gets you off the ground when you want to. So convince me. Leave a comment below and tell me why I should buy this Ibis. Why should I spend the extra $1,200, we'll call it $1,100, on the Ibis Ripmo AF over this Vitus Mythique 29, and it's a VRX version. There's a VRS and a VR version of the Mythique as well, both in the 27.5 and 29. I'm only looking at the 29 inch. And I'm only looking at the VRX version. That's the top of their 3 bike line. So the VR, VRS, and VRX. Problem is I can't buy either of these bikes right now because of COVID-19 insanity and, you know, just the hysteria. Everything is shut down everywhere pretty much. And so I guess they're just supply-wise, they're not available. I can't get into a bike shop. The bike shops are pretty much all closed to order the Ibis Ripmo AF if I did want to. And right now, the only option on the Vitus Mythique is the small version, any place I can find it. And there's only 2 places I can find it. If you know another place that I can buy the Vitus, let me know. Because Chain Reaction Cycles, I believe, like I said, I think they're in Ireland, and another company, distributor called Wiggle, who I've never heard of before. I believe they're a UK-only distributor. Both are out. They both only have smalls. So anyway, let me know what you think. That's what I'm thinking in my mind right now. I just can't, in my mind, imagine spending $1,200 more. As much as I love this Ibis, man, I'm falling in love with this Vitus. Everything about it seems like it's on point. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll leave those links below. And if there's anything else you'd recommend, hey, you know what? Let me know. If there's something else you think is a contender and even a better option than the Vitus or the Ibis Ripmo AF, let me know. Leave me a comment. But criteria must be below the $29.99 of the Ripmo AF, because that's an absolute ceiling. I don't want to even go there, but if that was where I would have to go, and that would be my best option, I believe. Between the Vitus and the Ibis, so between that $1,800 mark and that $29.99 mark, let me know. I'm really curious. I want to hear from people. I want to know. I didn't know this Vitus existed, a week ago, and now I can't stop thinking about it. It's really the best option I could find out there. So anyway, thank you so much for checking into SAMTB. Hope you guys seriously are staying safe. Don't be foolish. Keep yourself safe. Do that social distancing thing. Do it for now. Everyone's doing it anyway. There's no sense in really kind of fighting it at this point. I walked around Walmart the other day. It was like people were having a party in Walmart. I'm like, you guys just don't get this for some reason. But anyway, enough from me. Thanks so much for checking in.